It's literally him on the other end of the line. Start it now.
Start it now. And I'm glad we waited a little bit. There we go. I got the live. It'll go live in just a second for Twitch. Welcome, everyone. If you watch this from the beginning, episode number 420 of the Purple People podcast. Sorry, I don't have a sweet marijuana pun to put in here, but I did manage to put in an old classic WWF Attitude Era wrestler that is my favorite of all time. This is episode 420. It's called Sweet Quinn Music, and Robert Quinn is a North Carolina Tar Heel where I'm from. So it's all the references today, all of them. Really excited.
The Heartbreak Kid, Kyle Smith.
Dude, I wanted to be Shawn Michaels so much when I wanted to kick people in the face and have all the girls love me. And it's a blessing and a curse.
And I know we're the same age. So, we were in middle school when DX was really big. We would every single one of us would do the Shawn Michaels, the DX crotch chop. So, yeah. I get it.
It's just fun.
We're on the same wavelength.
I loved it. This is a bittersweet episode. We're a little late this week. I'm just gonna throw it out there now. We're on the holiday schedule, man.
Yeah.
Adam Carlson's not with us because he's enjoying family time right now, and that is perfectly okay. I think he said he's watching Wreck-It Ralph #2. So let us know how you thought that film was, because I saw the first one and it was incredible. And I love John C. Reilly.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. There we go. Twitch finally said we're going live. I like it.
Hey, Twitch.
Eventually, we're going to get an intro here when I figure that out and I go down the rabbit hole of things. But I digress. We're here to talk about the Chicago Bears game. Heartbreaking loss. And I put that in the description of this. I feel like we typed that a lot on this show. Heartbreaking loss to the Bears. I think they're a better team. I think the reason they won in Chicago the first time is because Akeem Hicks left. And they didn't have Mitchell Trubisky at quarterback.
Who would have thought?
Him and Nagy have a great record against the Vikings, and it's a combination of ferocious front seven play, and then on top of that, Mitch and his athleticism, because he's not going to blow you away with his arm, but he knows how to maneuver very well, and that's the college aspect of the game that comes in to bite the Vikings in the ass a lot. At least that's my opinion. But
right. What are we calling these? Fast breaks? I think that's what we...
Yeah, fast break. We have it right here, and I'll put that right up on the show. Oh, I deleted that? I'm such a turd. Well, guess what? We can add it back in, and here we go. And Kyle West is going to give you his thoughts on the game real quick.
After the game was over, all of us in our private chat, we were talking like it was the final game of the season. We were reflecting back on hey man, this is what 2020 was like as a Minnesota Vikings fan. And even though there's still a couple games left coming down the pipeline, we'll talk about those at the end of the show. We all kind of came away with thinking that, it wasn't what we wanted as an outcome, but Mike Zimmer, considering how bare the cupboard was actually able to squeak together a pretty solid performance out of this team, out of these young rookies.
I don't want to feel like Colin Cowherd switching my opinion every week, but I cannot agree with you more. A lot of us were on the fence. Maybe Adam was a little more reserved, but I think the worst game of the season was the Colts game. Looking back on it, was just putrid. Every other game after that has been pretty in depth. The Cowboys loss was very close. The Tampa Bay loss, if a kicker was there, it would have been very close. I think we would have won that game.
We got 3 rookies on this team. Justin Jefferson.
I explained that to my friends.
Yeah.
I explained that to my friends. Outside of both the safeties, everyone on defense is a rookie or a backup. And it's no discredit to those guys. But I guess to include this in a fast break so I don't go on a rant is I'm not going to blame anyone for this season because injuries and COVID happened. But if anyone's to blame, I'm not putting blame on Mike Zimmer. I'm putting blame on Rick Spielman, like Adam had said in the chat, and I give him the most credit for that, is you have to build outside of your stars, because once the stars left and you couldn't pay Xavier Rose and Mackenzie Alexander's with the Bengals and Sheldon Richardson left a couple of years ago. Oh, God, he's having a season with the Browns. this team is a shell of itself when you have to rely on backups for more than just a series. So, and just no discredit to those guys. They're playing their ass off. It's not like they're not trying, but they're just not up to snuff as far as the talent level goes. So this is not the year.
Here are 3 really big positives for this year in terms of where this roster is headed. Justin Jefferson, I don't know if you've noticed, he's pretty darn good. He's going to be a real big bright spot for this team moving forward. Cam Dantzler playing well above where he was drafted. Looks like Cam Dantzler is only going to get better for this team. Ezra Cleveland quietly doing really good with the opportunity he's been given on the offensive line. So there are 3 rookies from this last draft class that we all have to look forward to for next season as a Minnesota Vikings fan.
100%, and I'm even going to include Jeff Gladney in there. His play along the season has progressed. I think Cameron Dantzler's outshining him, but I think as far as tackling and being available, Jeff Gladney's been there. We're missing Eric Kendricks, guys. We're missing the entire defense, the core. This season is way different. But you know what this sets up for, and maybe for the fans that are annoyed and they wanted a winning season, and it was sort of close there for a week when we were in the playoffs. I get it, but this sets them up for next year to be right back on the par of, okay, you missed the playoffs last year. We're going to be 3rd in the division, it looks like. You're going to play 3rd-place teams, which is really good. And you're going to have a real good shot next year with a stacked team, 2 years removed from it being a stacked team.
And
where Anthony Harris and Anthony Barr go, Kyle Rudolph's probably going to be gone.
We talk about that. That's a good segment to talk about. I'm okay with Kyle Rudolph going because, man, the tight ends underneath him, the younger tight ends, are showing production that we've not really seen from Kyle Rudolph for a couple years now. Rudolph is good for that 1 or 2 circus catches that he may or may not have pushed off on. But you're seeing more value out of the younger tight ends on this team. Excellent comment up there on the field. You give me back Daniil Hunter, Michael Pierce in the middle, Anthony Barr, Eric Kendricks. Those are 4 big pieces we're missing right now on defense.
And you know what we said all year, because it depends on what game, what glaring need showed up. You know, Tampa Bay, it was the offensive line. This game, it was the defensive line. As a whole, when we get those starters back and Justin Jefferson has a year under his belt, there's not as many gaping holes that you need to fill, and that's so promising. And I agree with that, Sean. I couldn't agree with that more. Build the lines on both sides and try to figure out if you can get another decent skill player wherever they might be. And I think you're set. They're married to Kirk. They're going to go. They're going to go another year or 2 with him, and that's okay. I don't hate Kirk.
We're fine.
I'm not in love with him, but we'll date him on the side. We'll call him up for a booty call on the weekend. Gronklin, I love that name so much. Tyler Conklin is had a coming out party, and I guess that's a good way to segue. Sorry, guys, I'm going to throw it out here. I'm going to pause my mic so I can hack up along. I do have COVID. I hope that you guys don't get it because I feel like absolute shit. But I'm going to let Kyle West go first when I put this graphic up here and give away his game ball.
Game balls and donkeys. I am actually going to collectively go with the Minnesota Vikings tight end group. It's been a while since I've split a game ball. There you go. We've seen it for the past couple of games now where they are just coming out there and making plays. Folks, yards after catch from the tight ends. Oh, my. We love Kyle Rudolph, but for his whole tenure with the Minnesota Vikings, it is catch a ball, go out of bounds. Catch a ball, go down immediately. So it's nice getting that extra production, that extra value out of the tight ends. I love our young guys moving forward. I would be okay if Kyle Rudolph wants to stick around, but it has to be on a reduced contract, and it has to be under. You're going to be a veteran. It's going to be majorly reduced time. Maybe we only need you in the red zone in a 2-minute drill at the end of a game so you can come up with that big play. I think that is his future if he has one with the Vikings moving forward. But bravo to our young tight ends out there in Minnesota.
Yeah, that was going to be my first choice, but I don't mind splitting it. And Adam's not here, so he's going to hate this if he listens, but I'm going to split mine too. I am going to give my game ball split up between the 2 best offensive weapons that we have this season. And this is no slight to Adam Thielen because he caught his 13th touchdown of the year, which is incredible. Dalvin Cook and Justin Jefferson, have yourself a game. Both of them had over 100 yards each. Dalvin Cook, 24 carries, 1 touchdown, 132 yards. Justin Jefferson's 8 receptions, 104 yards. The only 2 guys that made the Pro Bowl on this team, there were some snubs for sure, but it's a Pro Bowl and it's a fan vote. I could care less.
Pro Bowl don't mean it.
Yeah, no, it's good for the player, but its significance is next to nothing. So I'm just really happy and proud of the young core this team has, and they give us something to look forward to. Justin Jefferson is a legit stud. He is going to be a force, and I think he's well on establishing in his way to the number 1 on this team. I think Thielen's good with that too, because he's going to catch a lot of touchdowns and a lot of easy passes that way. But it's nice to see Dalvin Cook, even with Akeem Hicks in the game the entire time, doing his thing, pounding the ball, finding ways to get around, because this team's matched up very well against the Vikings since Matt Nagy arrived, and now Chuck Pagano and Vic Fangio before. That defense matches up well because they have really good pieces. The Vikings were in this game. They only lost by 6 points. Just really, you hate to see Chicago come in 2 out of the last 3 years and end the season pretty much. There's no way the Vikings are making the playoffs. I don't care if it's a 2 or a 4. I highly doubt you're going to beat New Orleans, but even if they do win out, the likelihood of the other teams doing you favors is just so low. It's a shame, but let's be honest, guys, and you guys tell me in the chat, we can kind of segue out of these game balls and donkeys once we give the donkeys away. But is this really a playoff team? I don't think this is a playoff team.
No, we're not a playoff team. It's one of those scenarios where, hey, if the Vikings would have won out and say you beat New Orleans and get momentum and kind of sneak your way in through the back door, it's the COVID season. Anything could happen, man. But no, we're not a playoff team. I don't think any of us are, and I don't think there's any Vikings fans that are sitting here right now. Of course, we're disappointed because we didn't make it, but I don't think there's anyone that's like, oh man, we got screwed out of making the playoffs this year. Like, no, we really didn't play good enough over stretches of this season to earn it. Got to do better, but it's kind of okay. I'm not super disappointed with how this season turned out.
They gave us a good stretch of those 5-1 out of those 6 games after they started 1-5 to restore my faith back to Zimmer. Right. And not to discredit anyone on the team, because I think everybody's trying. But the donkey has to be Dozier. It's Dozier or it's Shamar Stephen. He had a fucking terrible game. They made Tariq Cohen, David Montgomery look like freaking Adrian Peterson that day. I mean, there were so many missed tackles and just straight up the gut too. It was rough to watch.
This defense without Anthony Barr and Eric Kendricks is not good.
And that really highlights Danielle Hunter too, because there's no pressure on these quarterbacks. There might be quarterback pressures on the stat sheet, but there's not obvious duress because Mitch was looking to run, and that's good coverage from the corners. I'm down with it, but that stuff that sneaks up on you and you get the ball knocked out, that happens to Kirk a lot. That's what you're looking for, and we don't have that presence this year. Those guys are trying hard, and I think they deserve to be in the spot as rotational players like Afadio Danabo. I really like DJ Wanham. I really like James Lynch. I like all these guys, but I don't think they're starters. I'm sure you guys in the comments, Kyle, I'm sure you think that too, but it's not a playoff team.
I agree with John. Yeah, thank you for putting that up. Remember that year we got embarrassed in the playoffs? Who was it? Was it the Giants?
What year?
I want to say I don't remember. A couple seasons back. I don't remember, but I remember just getting absolutely just embarrassed that we played the playoffs and we scored 3 points and got blown out. This is absolutely terrible on that one. My donkey, really quick for this week. I had to look it up to even make sure I'm getting him correctly, because there's so many people on this team that you're like, who the fuck is that? Todd Davis. I believe we had shit on Todd Davis. Thank you, Sean. It was the 2000 Giants, 41-0 against the Giants. I don't want that shit to happen.
Eagles murdered us. Yeah, at least we scored a touchdown on the first drive. I had to think back, because when you were talking about the Giants, I'm like, this is definitely pre-Eli. So, it's a good reference, Sean. Thank you for that.
No, Todd Davis might be one of the worst players on this team. I don't know if he can tackle. I don't think he contributes to anything. There are plays where they've highlighted him directly, and they're like, "You fucked up so bad that they scored immediately because you were out of position, and then you didn't tackle, and I don't know why you're on this team."
Which sucks
So
because when you look down and we scroll through, I'm not going through the stats this week minus Kirk Cousins. We've already highlighted Dalvin Cook and the receivers.
we don't care.
Eric Wilson led the team, 11 total tackles, 5 by himself, a tackle for loss, and a quarterback hit. That's pretty damn good, and I hope he stays. But yeah, the stat sheet doesn't say that Todd Davis had a terrible game. He was second up top, a sack, tackle for loss, pass defended, quarterback hit. But I get what you mean, man, because for any good that comes out of that, there's a glaring, obvious play that usually leads to either a score, a conversion, or a huge chunk play, and that's not going to work.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think the offense stayed in it decently well. I think Kirk was under a ton of pressure. He did have one of those like fluky, retarded games where he held on to the ball too long a couple times, and I'm like, "What are you doing?"
Every now and then, Kirk Cousins is good for those really head-scratching moments where, and the announcers even talked about it. You should have that clock in his head as a veteran where either throw it 20 yards out of bounds, scramble, or do something other than take a sack.
Which I'll give him credit. He did rush 3 times for 25 yards. He got a first down on one of them too, long of 10. But I don't want him to have to do that. But when nothing's there, he'll try to wait. He'll try to wait too long, which is annoying. But I feel bad for the guy because if you're feeling like you're about to get murdered in there, you start to panic. And he's not cool and calm under pressure as some of these other guys are, and he's not athletic enough to make up for it. I'm not saying Kirk isn't an athlete. He's absolutely an athlete, but he's not Russell Wilson.
Hey, he's not Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes in the pocket, which is okay. Although he is more sneaky athletic than we give him credit for, which is why occasionally when the seas part in front of you, Kirk, you can scramble for that 8 to 10 yards. Please do so. Make a play.
Yeah, that one run Mitch had all the way to the 1 was beautiful. And I was like, that's a damn good run. That's a good vision. But not so much out of Kirk. I think the first year he was in Minnesota, he did it. That's where he came up with the dead arm dad dance thing. And I was like, that's pretty cool. Mike, didn't you send us a message today? I think I replied to you because your profile picture looks familiar. Any free agents worth bringing in the offseason? Yeah, guards. Any guards or any interior defensive lineman, like, cool. If you want to bring in a replacement defensive end opposite Danielle Hunter, I'm all for it.
Hey, I'm going to make a bold statement.
Here we go.
Every free agent kicker.
Ooh.
All of them. All of the kickers. Point. Come on to Minnesota.
Wasn't thinking about it because Dan Bailey was perfect this week, but what are the chances he stays? I don't think he's staying with the team. I don't think you think he's staying with the team.
I think it's one of those situations where the Vikings will be like, hey, Mr. Bailey, we will politely ask you to retire. And he will say, yes, I think I will, and call it a career, and we will just kind of mutually part ways with respect. And I think that's how they will deal with that situation.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best route for both parties. But he's had a damn good career, even with that abysmal game in Tampa Bay. He's still one of the most accurate kickers ever, and he scored a lot of points. He had a great career as a Cowboy, and he got to see some success with the Vikings. Going to the playoffs last year, but not how he kind of fizzled out, faded out, not in a good way. But it is what it is. It happens. Father Time is undefeated. So
you listen to Pat McAfee talk about that at all?
Oh, yeah. I'm a big fan of what he said about Dan Bailey. He said it's mental for sure.
Right. And also how sometimes just a change of scenery can help reset your mind. So it might be one of those situations where Dan Bailey is like, I'm going to retire. And then before the season starts, some other team has an injury or they need competition. You bring in Dan Bailey and he could probably go kick for some other team and maybe do well for them, which is not what Vikings fans want to hear. But from the way Pat was talking, that's just kind of the mentality of the kicker punter. You need that change of scenery every now and then.
Yeah, this is a great question too. Not to discredit your Pat McAfee stuff. Anything that Pat does, I'm usually a fan of, unless he says something really stupid and ignorant. But he doesn't do that. His entertainment quality and his delivery is just
Oh,
amazing. He has Aaron Rodgers on every week, and when it's on Sundays and the Vikings play him, he's mortal enemy number one.
I
I love listening to the guy talk. He's such a good interview, and Pat's questions, he asks some of the stuff that we want to hear. I like
yeah.
hearing a guy who played the sport, but also can ask a fan question. And he was talking about that with Bailey, saying this is probably just mental. And once you can get out of that headspace, you can get right back to where you are. But I don't know. Switching to this, John Young says trade a third rounder for OBJ. That's not going to happen for money. I don't think that would work. I would definitely try to find another Jarius Wright kind of role, somebody that's going to be okay. Who would be great in there that's probably going to be a free agent, just thinking about it? Marvin Jones from the Detroit Lions. I would love to have him on the Vikings. He'd be a great number 3. And that passing game, somebody's going to be open between him, Thielen, and Jefferson. I would love to have Marvin Jones on this team.
I really think there's not much depth below Thielen and Jefferson at wide receiver. You got a couple guys, BB Odubisi Johnson. They'll be back. Whether or not they're good enough that they're not a lock for the 53. Like either of those two could potentially be beat out by a draft pick or another free agent. So I think you're looking at maybe a lot of movement again at the wide receiver position for the Vikings coming into the 2021 season.
I'm hoping it's going to be a guy like Marvin Jones. It's established or needs some stuff there. Who left the Patriots recently? Mohamed Sanu. I'd be a big fan of Mohamed Sanu coming in. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Falcons, Patriots, and Lions. I think that's him or Marvin Jones. Yeah, bring him in. Why not? I mean, if he's going to be a 3, you don't need him to be your go-to guy. You got 1A and 1B with Jefferson and Thielen now, so make him be your 3rd. He'll have a revival season. Maybe he's not going to have more than one, but a revival season is better than not at all. So, I don't know. I wonder if there's a kicker we're drafting. I'm a firm believer that you stop wasting draft picks on kickers. There's a kid out there on YouTube. If you just give him a tryout, he could be worth it. But wasting draft capital on a kicker is not something I trust this team to do. They just
talking about that YouTube kid destroying.
Yeah, he's a monster. Yeah. He is a monster. He's an athlete, and I would totally give him a tryout at least.
He has been 100% blackballed from the NFL based on what happened to him in college and the whole YouTube scandal thing. Like, there's no unfortunately, no team will take a flyer on him, which is unfortunate because he is talented enough to be kicking in the NFL right now.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. And he'll call it out too. I liked his Instagram video where he said, these guys are missing kickers, missing kicks. It was the day that Dan Bailey missed all his stuff. And I'm out here hitting 60-piece McNuggets. Call your boy. I'm ready to get signed. And I was like, he's got a point.
I hate to say it, but teams don't want a kicker or a punter that's
with personality.
They just don't.
No, they don't. And you're 100% right. I hate that you're right about that, but you are spot on there, my friend. There's nothing really to note more from this game. It says here for the recap, if you go to ESPN's app, David Montgomery had a rush for a career high of 146 yards and 2 touchdowns. So, yeah, the defense was terrible. The offensive line wasn't that good as far as pass blocking goes. Kirk was under a lot of pressure. I think I listened to Locked On. Shout out to Luke Braun and that cool show because he puts out content every week. But I like that minus all the advertising that goes on that show. Jesus Christ, every 3 minutes there's a fucking ad. But
yeah,
I mean, good for you for getting paid. I'm not hating on you. I'm hating the game. But he said that Kirk's getting pressured almost 40% of the time here in the last couple of games. So it's like, what do you want the guy to do? And I can tell you right now, this season ain't on Kirk Cousins. He's had a bad game or two, but he's been very good. And he's going to pass 30 touchdowns this year. He's going to break 4,000 yards. I mean, the turnovers suck, but half that stuff I wouldn't say is necessarily his fault. And I hate that because when he has a better year, the team usually doesn't do as well. But this defense is absolutely the answer to 99% of the problems. And then right below that is the special teams with a giant question mark of what the hell. So that's a good point. Viking Jerome says Zimmer's time management in games is just terrible. Definitely not his strong suit. Definitely.
No, he has always had issues with clock management, which is it's always weird because you hear him talk so much in the off season about how they work on game time situations where, hey, we're down by a score, we've got X amount of time with one timeout. Here's where we are on the field. Go down and work on that scenario. And for them to still come up with those issues with time management is concerning and a definite knock that you can make on Mike Zimmer.
Yeah, and I won't totally just throw him away. Viking Jerome, I totally agree with you. That's an obvious upgrade that he needs to figure out. But we have to remember, man, and I'm not taking this shot at Jerome specifically, just mostly the people on the internet that I want to punch in the face with a brick. You're not a football mind. If you were, Kyle and I right here and Adam too, we're not football people. We're fans. These guys literally consume football like it's food they need for nourishment, and that's all they do all the time. So maybe there's something in his long, wise, football brain that we don't quite get or understand that he just thinks of naturally. But yeah, there are some times where I scratch my head. I'm like, hey, what are you doing, man? Or I don't like the fact that he's been a little risque on doing the challenges this year and not going their way. If it's not blatantly obvious that you're going to get that back and you don't see the other team rushing to get a playoff, don't throw your challenge flag out there and waste the time out. Kind of over that a little bit, but I get the notion of trying to stick up for your team. But
there are definitely times though where I'm yelling at the TV set at Kirk to spike the ball. Can you spike the ball? Can you spike the fucking ball already?
Yes.
It's like no other team has that issue. I feel like as much as what the Vikings do. It's like you just spike the damn thing. Do you guys know how to set and do that?
Yeah. And Kyle's talking about this game as well. This game came down to a Hail Mary, which, hey, 50-50 chance you get it. It was intercepted. So Kirk had the arm to get it there. He still had pressure with three people, which is just, that pissed me off more than anything on that last play. There was still pressure. How? I don't know. But who knows, man? This would have been a game if Kyle Rudolph was there. I'd love to have thrown it in his direction. He probably would have came up with it, but that's you still have to go to overtime. Who's to say that we would have won in overtime?
You know what I hate?
What's that?
Again, what you just said. We're not football minds. What do I know?
Yeah.
So they put three receivers over here, and you at least got three Chicago Bears on them, if not more.
Yep.
And they all end up in one corner of the end zone. Why don't you put three guys over here, Adam Thielen on this side, who's probably going to get single covered, or Justin Jefferson, who in that situation is probably going to get single covered. I would rather take the chance with one of those two guys potentially having single fucking coverage over on the other side of the end zone than throwing it into a cluster of people over on the other side. I don't get that. How often does that work? That never really works.
No. It's a fluke, and most of the time, even when guys like Aaron Rodgers are really good at the Hail Marys, you still got to catch the ball,
right?
So it is what it is. Even if they would have went overtime, who knows if they would have beat them in overtime? I don't think that they would have. John Young says, I think Colin Cowherd is spot on about Kirk. When everything is good around him, he is great. When things aren't great, he doesn't have the ability to make the situation better. Yeah, and that's why he's an average quarterback. He's not terrible by any means, but he's definitely not a superstar. I think there are some games you're guaranteed every year to leave your head scratching and say, what the hell? And I think there's some games where quietly he doesn't get enough love. Like I'm going to go through his stats really quick because they are mind-boggling when you look at this year because of the production. But I looked at this last night because I'm a loser and I think about stuff like this at 2 a.m. And I'm filibustering right now, but let's go to Kirk Cousins' stat page. I'm going to read you his stats from this season because this is insane. Let's see all the games from this year. Touchdowns. He's had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games this year with 3 touchdowns. 3 passing touchdowns. There's only one game this year he didn't throw a touchdown, and he's had 1, 2, 3 games with multiple touchdowns. So he's had at least 9 games with 2 or more, and that's over half the season. The dude he's not that bad, but you make a good point here. I think if he had a ship to steer like in Indianapolis, where the defense is just really underrated and he's got a great offensive line, I think he can make enough right decisions not to screw everything up, and they can get to an AFC championship.
Okay, there was a point. We'll defend Kirk here. We'll defend Zimmer here too. What was there a point in the season where we were 1-5? This team very easily could have derailed, and we could have looked as awful as the Jets look right now. Somehow, Kirk Cousins and Mike Zimmer, despite a lack of talent, because there's so many injuries and there's so many people out, they willed themselves into almost making the playoffs. Now, be it almost making the playoffs is not making the playoffs. There is a difference, but fucking they fought, and they deserve some credit for just willpower alone making this season work as well as what they did.
To make a weird reference for you guys too, to kind of validate Kyle's point, if you are an NBA fan like myself, I'm not hardcore about it by any means because I'm a Charlotte Hornets fan. I'm from North Carolina. You guys know that.
You have nothing to cheer.
No, that team has been awful since the early 2000s. Kemba Walker leaving broke my heart last year. But if you want to go to the championship Lakers, and shout out to LeBron and the whole Lakers squad because they got the rings last night, and because Kobe died this year, it was a heartfelt moment. Yeah. But you put an asterisk around that championship because it's COVID. Some people are going to always do that. What do you do about this season, whoever wins? I'm sure the best team will probably win the Super Bowl, and they probably reside in Kansas City. But to Mike's point here, more of a preseason would have helped with the young talent. Yes, because you know what? If you had 4 games and 3 of them were actually really good, we'll say just 3. If we could have turned 3 of those losses into wins, this Viking team has 9 wins right now, and they are very much in the thick of the playoffs. And 3 of them were very close. You got the Tennessee game. You got the Seattle game. We should have beat Seattle. That would have been even bigger to me than beating Green Bay and Green Bay. There's another game there. I think we lost by like a field goal or something close. But yeah, I'm with you, man. The way that they willed back, and we had no business going into Green Bay and beating the crap out of them, but they did, and they did it very easily with a simple game plan of, hey, beat this guy over here, and they can't do it. So,
and I know every team has talent that's out right now because of COVID. Yeah. So we're all in the same boat here. But we miss Linval Joseph in the middle here in Minnesota.
He might be the biggest missed player of the team from last year.
Yes, I really think so too. His replacement, Michael Pierce, we haven't seen him in purple yet. We haven't got the opportunity to see him play for Minnesota, but having Michael Pierce in the middle of that defense to fill the void left behind by Linval would have been so huge. You just look at the loss against Chicago. Having him in the middle, maybe they stop their running back. They're not able to run all over this defense. You don't know, but the season is what the season is. Every team has these unusual set of circumstances that they had to try to overcome.
He's only 28. He just turned 28 last month in November, so he's still very much on the good side of the spectrum for age too. Very excited about that guy. You guys make great points in the chat too. 4th down calls were kind of shitty. I'm tired of them obviously going for something up the middle. You could do some trickery, or you could do some play action. I mean, do anything you can to avoid their strong suit, which is Khalil Mack and Akeem Hicks. Go anywhere but near those guys. And literally go the opposite direction of those guys. But yeah, the play calling has been suspect in some of these games. But we can't say the whole year is like that, because some of these games, like they shouldn't have beat Green Bay. They've walked through the division pretty well. They're 3-2 in the division, which is a major upgrade from last year's 2-4. So they've been very competitive against a lot of playoff teams. Tampa Bay, minus the kicking woes. Seattle, Tennessee, they're all going to playoffs, beat Green Bay. I do think this offense needs a spark, though. They need some juice because I think it's very limited. And the plays that we have seen that have worked have been amazing, but there's not enough of them. Even though the offense is up in the numbers and the stats this year, there's a lot of times in a lot of these games where it's kind of dull and there's a 3 and out and people are covered or Dalvin Cook doesn't go anywhere. And I'm like, you have all these pieces. Why are they not working? You know?
Well, I'm really going to place importance on that wide receiver 3.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I really think just getting that solid wide receiver 3 is going to help the Vikings out quite a bit.
We missed Jarius Wright too, by the way. You know who I also missed that was even here later than him? Why did we not sign Aldrid Robinson back? Didn't he have like 20 catches that first year Kirk was here and like 5 of them for touchdowns? Are you kidding me? Bring that dude back. He can't be that expensive. Most of all, before we preview this Saints game, I think if I want to ask everybody that's watching, we still have 7 people watching live right now. 5 are on YouTube. 1 is on Twitch. 1 is on Facebook. That's really cool. It'll tell you the numbers. What right now the Vikings are going to pick around, I don't know, between 16 and 20, depending on where they're at. We'll say between 14 and 19 to be a little more accurate. Where is the absolute number 1 need on this team? Is it corner or is it guard? And you could say yes to both, but I really want this offensive line to be upgraded because I don't think I've seen a worse player this year at any position than Dakota Dozier. He is, well, Drew Samia, I take that back. Drew Samia is pretty terrible, but Dakota Dozier is bad. He does not need to start.
So the political answer is best player available.
Yeah, get that out of here.
I know, and either of those. So with that out of the way, if you're locked on to what position, you have to keep Kirk Cousins upright. I know we're hurting in the secondary. I know we are. You also have to believe that Mike Zimmer. What was his quote that you love all the time? I
can find a cover 2 corner down in Mankato at 7-Eleven or something like that. It's the funniest thing I've ever heard. And I cannot believe he said that to a star first round corner. And he does not give a flying shit about that. He's like, I don't care. Right cover 2. He's like, every time I look at you, there's something wrong. You got a calf, you got an ankle. He's like, I can find a cover 2 corner at the 7-Eleven in Mankato.
So what I'm getting here is that we're going to ask Mike Zimmer to go find that 7-Eleven corner. And that's kind of going to have to be what you're going to have to work with because we're going to have to take that first round pick and we're going to have to address more on the offensive line. We just have to. I know if Adam was with us, I think he would agree.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't think that if there's a good corner available, they should pass up on it either. Because the defense has got to get back to form, but there's going to be some pieces that they get back. That's going to be great. Viking Jerome says both, but if Trey Lance is sitting there, you take him. Yes, I'll agree with that. If he falls, you take him. You do not give up draft capital for a quarterback when you are married to Kirk Cousins for another 2 years. Absolutely not. If you want to upgrade the backup position and take a flyer in the 4th round or later, sure. I can't justify this team taking a 3rd round quarterback unless they are positive, a 2nd or a 3rd round quarterback like Jalen Hurts in Philadelphia, for example. If they're positive he's going to be the future, they know they can build around him. Or if what Viking Jerome is saying, if a guy like Trey Lance is sitting there at 14, fuck yeah, go after him. Take him. Why not? It'll motivate the shit out of Kirk Cousins and go. But I don't think that guy's going anywhere because this is how it goes. I'm going to go on a rant for a second, guys. Right now, Jacksonville is going to take Trevor Lawrence. The Jets are going to take Justin Fields more than likely or Trey Lance. Cincinnati's at 3, but they have Burrow. They're not going to take that's going to be the first non-quarterback at number 3. Carolina's going to be number 4 as the draft sits right now. They need a quarterback. Trey Lance ain't falling to 14, guys. That ain't happening. But if he did, to appease this fantasy draft we have going on, Viking Jerome, if he's there, yeah, you pull the trigger on him for sure.
If he's there at 14, I'm on the phone with other teams in the draft and being like, hey, who wants him? Come on.
Hey, I heard your quarterback is terrible. What's the price here? Yeah, I got you.
Spielman going, I hear you got a 7th-round draft pick or two. Come on, baby. Send
No,
me
you know
those
what you
sets.
do there? You get that second round pick that Yannick Ngakoue cost you, and you even it out again, and you draft day that shit like that movie, and that's exactly what you do. And
Yeah.
dude, you're speaking the predictive Miss Cleo language, predicting the future there, man. He loves to trade back, and he loves picks, and I'd be all
I
for it.
don't think I don't think the Vikings they're not gonna take a flyer on a 1st-round quarterback because they're not sending they don't want to send that message to Kirk Cousins.
Yeah,
Okay. Aaron Rodgers is a professional quarterback. And look how he handled Green Bay drafting a 1st-round quarterback. He was fucking pissed for the
yeah,
Packers for doing that. What Kirk Cousins he's as nice of a guy as can be. He would still be pissed if the Vikings did that. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that motivates him. But I still don't think that they send that message to him.
I think they love him too much, and I think
Yeah.
they're very much on the take it safe business approach side of football. They're going to stick with where the money is because they have to. And I'm with you. I don't think they would put him in that situation.
I don't think so. You can always make more of a case when you draft a 2nd-round, 3rd-round quarterback for, well, it was just the best available player on our board at the time.
Right.
That's always easier. When you're drafting a 1st-round quarterback, even if you're at, middle of the pack, 14, whatever, you're looking at that's an immediate hole that we're planning on filling, if not now, within the next season or so. And I don't think
it's
they're
the
going to do
same.
that.
It's the same thing you're talking about with Green Bay. We all know Aaron Rodgers. He's made it clear he wanted a skill player, and he's only 37. Brett Favre played till he was 20, and he played damn good. Tom Brady's 42, and Bucks are going to the playoffs in a brand new team and the other side of the country. That Aaron Rodgers is playing for at least 4 more years, barring some crazy injury. Right? I don't know what they were thinking drafting him. That's really stupid on their part, but albeit, I mean, it looks like things are working out because they're the number 1 seed in the NFC. But the Vikings shouldn't do that unless there's just too good to pass up, I guess. But I'm with you. I'm with you on moving back. Go ahead.
Here is my stupid comment about Aaron Rodgers for everyone to ponder about. You said he's probably got 4 or 5 more years he's going to play.
Yeah.
How many of those are going to be in purple?
I mean, if I'm being optimistic, 4. Dude, I don't care what anybody says. Hate me all you want, and you can just leave the show and crucify my name. If that dude's on the free agent market tomorrow, I'm selling the house and the rest of the neighborhood to get that dude. He is one of the top 10 greatest quarterbacks I've ever seen of all time. I don't care about the rings and stuff. I'm looking at that dude's constantly. Who has he had that's a Hall of Fame wide receiver there? Devontae Adams maybe later, and then Greg Jennings at the end of his career, Donald Driver, Jordy Nelson. I don't know if those dudes are going in the Hall of Fame. He gave Robert Tonyan a 10-touchdown season this year, and there's still 2 games left. 40 touchdowns and 4 interceptions right now. I need that in my life so bad. It would just be the nicest thing in the world. It would have been the Favre season, but consistently, because we know how that ended the next year, and it was very depressing.
They're going to hate us for that, but
that's fine. You can hate me all you want, but you know what? You need this in your life, Purple People Pod fans. If he came to this team, you would be stoked because you know what we do a lot of? We would win a lot. We would win a lot.
We're all hardcore Vikings fans. Okay?
Yeah.
My jerseys are hanging up in a closet right over there. And you know what Vikings jerseys hanging up in there alongside Fran Tarkenton and Adrian Peterson and all the other Vikings, Randy Moss, Brett Favre.
Yeah.
The Brett Favre Vikings jersey.
100%.
It's in there too. Yeah.
100%. I love Brett. I thought he was my favorite player, not a Viking player, because I don't consider him a Viking, but outside of the Vikings, he's my favorite player. I just love watching the dude just recklessly throw the ball wherever he decided he wanted to go. And he could at about 500 miles an hour. But, if Aaron Rodgers, I'd take that dude yesterday. but he's not leaving Green Bay. I don't know what the hell they were thinking. The Vikings aren't going to do that, which is a good thing because Kirk would find his way to weasel out, and then we'd be stuck with like Sean Mannion for a year, and we would all be like, "Oh my God, I never thought I'd say I miss Kirk Cousins." So, take what you can get. I just hope that they fill these obviously glaring needs because they have not done well in the line consistently enough to prove that they can be trusted either. But that's the name of the draft. I mean, you could say that about any position. Oh, man. All right, let's talk about this New Orleans Saints game coming up because
we're going to beat the Saints. That's the most Vikings thing to ever happen. Lose to Chicago, let's go upset the Saints. Come on, guys, we can do it.
Hey, you heard it here first. Kyle West hot take of the week. We're going into New Orleans on Christmas and we're winning.
Yep.
That's good for you to believe that because right now the odds are 72% that they're going to lose.
Hey, all I'm saying is take your $600 stimulus check and put it on. No, don't do that. Don't take financial advice from the
don't do that
podcast. But
right now, the Vikings are at a 27.2% chance to win. They're -6.5. I mean, +6.5 if you're talking about betting. I watched this team play. Ooh, okay, questionable, and this is Wednesday, so they're leaving tomorrow. Nobody is ruled out yet. Eric Kendricks is questionable. That'd be great. Kyle Rudolph, Alexander Madison, C.J. Ham, Todd Davis. So if we could have Madison, Ham, and Kendricks back, that would be incredible. Is this team capable of beating the Saints? Absolutely. Do I think that they will? Probably not. It just depends on the game plan coming up, and it's not a playoff game, so we can't ruin their year. So probably not. But that'd be cool.
It is always fun to upset the Saints.
Here's a good one. Mike asked us this, and I replied to his message, but I was the only one replying. So what do you guys think? What about Cousins calling the plays? This is what I told Mike, and I'll let you guys answer too. I don't think that Kirk Cousins is stupid by any means. I think his brain is actually one of his biggest talents as a quarterback because he wants to play it safe. He's very much like, I don't want to say he plays scared, but he plays conservative. I think he's like an upgrade from what Teddy Bridgewater does. But he is not a Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Aaron Rodgers, beat the defense with his brain on the line. I mean, that was obvious in the last two games. He missed some obvious plays where he didn't count the number of people on the line coming up and he didn't have enough coverage to block. So,
or, spike the ball, Kirk.
Or that too. Cliff, what's up, dude? Glad you can make it in. We're just over here praying for a miracle on Friday. So give us your thoughts.
Christmas miracle.
Hey, stranger things have happened. So I think that Michael Thomas not being there for the rest of the year is good. I don't think that Drew Brees is as scary as we thought. I think if Taysom Hill was playing, this would be a freaking blowout because the Vikings can't stop anything running. I think you should expect to see a healthy dose of Taysom Hill just because it'll confuse the Vikings. And this defense is 25th out of 32 this year. We'll just call it what it is. That baby is ugly, and I don't want to look at it anymore. Would it shock me? Would it shock me that the Vikings won? No. Do I think they'll win? No. I hope that it's competitive. I hope it's like the Seattle game, but with a different outcome. That's what I hope.
Well, that was prediction. I think they're going to win.
Kyle West says we're going to win, and I hope he's right. I really hope that he's right.
Yep.
Looking back at the ESPN stats for that, I mean, it's nothing too crazy, but Saints -6.5. They're 10-4. The Packers are well in the lead for that 1 seed, so we can kind of preview and go ahead. I don't know if the Bills are going to make it all the way, but I do think the Packers are going to go to the Super Bowl this year. 10 years after they went last time when Aaron Rodgers won, and they were a wild card then. They'll be the number 1 seed here.
If the Packers winning the Super Bowl means Aaron Rodgers retires and gets the hell out of the division.
Because we know the Vikings aren't going to win it. So I mean, you got to think of the grander scheme of things. That does hurt to say, but I'm looking at New Orleans too. They've lost 2 of their last 3 at Philly and home in Kansas City. So yeah, they're bound for a win here. I don't like the probability there, but Stranger things have happened. I'm rooting for this team. I'm not a hater of the Vikings. I'm just a pessimist. So, okay. Like this comment, this is great. Vikings already gave me a lump of coal. Not sure if I'm excited for Friday. I'm not either. It's a short week. Yeah. Their defense is nasty. Just nasty. But I think Dalvin Cook can get some splash plays going. I think this defense is motivated. I just don't know if their talent can beat the trickery and the short little stints the Saints pull, because Sean Payton's a really good offensive coach. So we'll see. I'll definitely be watching, and I hope that everyone has a very Merry Christmas, even if the Vikings don't win. But you heard it from Kyle West. They're going to win, so it's all good.
They're going to win. No need to watch. They're going to win. You heard it here first.
Since the Vikes out, go Cleveland Browns. Yeah, shout out to Kevin Stefanski getting the Browns. Baker Mayfield looks competent. That'll be my hot take for the year. Everybody loves Baker this year. You know who Baker Mayfield is? Can you guys guess? He's Kirk Cousins. There, I said it. Yeah. Weird what happens when the old Vikings coach comes in. They run the shit out of the ball. They do play action, and he doesn't do stupid throws. Baker Mayfield is Kirk Cousins.
You know, I was thinking about Kevin Stefanski the other day too, and was wondering.
Were you holding this picture like the Wolverine meme?
Yeah, like the Wolverine meme.
I miss you so much.
I was wondering, is this going to be another one of those assistants who leaves the Vikings and goes on to win a Super Bowl before the fucking Vikings do? Like, remember we have Mike Tomlin was defensive coordinator for the Minnesota Vikings for a season, and then he goes on and hey, maybe you've heard of his run with the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's been pretty darn good. And there's a few other noteworthy examples that you can point to that as well too. Brian Billick with Baltimore Ravens. There's another one that stands out.
These are all solid points.
Yeah.
Wasn't Tony Dungy on the staff at one point too?
Tony Dungy?
Tony Dungy was. Boy,
that's a trivia fact. That's the trivia fact I wish we had Adam here for.
Oh, I'm gonna look at it right now. I'm positive he was Tony Dungy, Vikings. Because that's another swing and a miss. Oh my God. Let's look here. I'm gonna go Wikipedia. If you guys know the answer, please feel free to chime in, because we're just rooted in Vikings history. There you go. Minnesota Viking football team. Head coach of the Buccaneers. Remember, but his career truly began in Minnesota. Quarterback for the University of Minnesota Gophers. That's pretty sweet. Didn't know that. That's crazy, man. Yeah, there's been a lot of people that have came through there. He was named the new defensive coordinator of the Vikings in 1991. Oh, my God. 5 seasons at the helm of the Vikings defense. That means he got to see my favorite player ever on that team. Oh, John Randall.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, there's another one that got away. Ugh.
That's like a trivia fact that I should know off the top of my head. You know that?
I know something the other guys don't. This is my Christmas present right here, guys. Thank you. No, you were talking about coaches. You think of Tomlin. I forget what you're talking about in Baltimore, but yeah, the Vikings. I would have done the same thing though. They went with Gary Kubiak. He's established. 5 years ago, he won a Super Bowl as a coach. Why not? And the way his scheme works for the running back, you see, obviously that's working out very well for Dalvin Cook. But my fear is that it's becoming too predictable and outdated. So that's my fear. In 2 years, is he going to be Norv Turner and everybody's just not going to care and they're going to know what's going? So that's what I don't want to see. But yeah. But the game is Sunday. We'll round this show out here, and I will give you the time of the station here in just a second because I am not prepared. It's on Fox. It's 3:30 Central Time, so 4:30 Eastern. That's kind of cool. It'll be a primetime game. And yeah, 6-8 going to the 10-4 Saints. So we will see how this goes. Rooting for the team. But it's all right. Like we said earlier, Kyle's already guaranteed to win. So take up your griefs and qualms with him if that doesn't go that way.
Yes, please do.
Well, let's get you guys out of here and get you hopefully home safe for the holidays. Hopefully you get to be with your loved ones. If not, I hope you're not feeling like shit like I am. COVID is real. I I'm not one of those jerks who doesn't wear a mask. I just felt like it was a little inflated, but I will take this time to say I feel like doo-doo. I hope that you guys don't get it. I hope that you stay safe. I hope you enjoy your holidays. And most of all, I hope you go to Redbubble and buy some shit from Kyle West because he is an awesome person. And some of the Purple People Pod merch there is pretty sweet.
Yes, it is. And I need to probably update my storefront at some point. I have, take a little time off every now and then because I'm also lazy. But hey, you should check it out using the link below. We're so terrible at promoting our own stuff. We're like, whatever. Well, I don't care what you do. That's the Purple People podcast way.
Yeah, and until we get that Sundrop, Mountain Dew, or Taco Bell sponsor, we're not going to hammer you guys with sponsors in the front. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, we got the ball shaving sponsor too, and you know what? We're not going
to
do it.
We didn't do it. I was actually on board to do it, but I'm glad these other two talked me out of it. So we'll wait. We'll wait for another one. We'll wait for another bite in the next 2 years.
You don't need us to tell you how to shave your nuts.
No, yeah. If you haven't figured it out by now, don't ask me because I'm not going to help you.
Yeah.
Adam Carlson's not here, but what's that?
That's on the Kyle Smith OnlyFans.
Yeah, no.
The Heartbreak Kid, Kyle Smith.
I will give you feet pictures and ball shaving advice for $10.99 a month. All right.
There you go.
It's exclusive.
No, don't restart my computer, Apple.
That's amazing.
No, don't. Later. Try me later.
We run a premiere show here, as you can tell. We don't. Yeah, this is why we wait till the end to promote stuff. No, I'm just giving you shit, man. Adam Carlson's not here. You should check out his work at thevikingage.com. We get a lot of our info there. There's a slew of great writers on that website as well, but I always make a point to go in depth about this because if you go to one of Adam Carlson's at thevikingage.com and you interact at the bottom and comment, his numbers get inflated. He has more interaction, and that's how he pays the bills because he is a paid writer. So check him out there. Check him out on undeadwalking.com if you are a Walking Dead fan, and do the same thing on those articles. His Twitch is also here too, twitch.tv/MNVikingZombie. We're on Twitch right now. We're going to build that up as much as we can. And if you like to watch us there, you can as well. But that's how you can help out our friend Adam Carlson. And we missed you this week, buddy, but Merry Christmas to you. And hopefully you're enjoying time with the family. I'm going to take a slightly sad turn here, but I'm going to post it onto our Facebook page because at this point I'm kind of desperate. My mother has been diagnosed with stage 4 cancer within the last 2 weeks. She's in great spirits. She's a fighter. If you know us, Southerners down from the South, she's a very God-fearing, God-loving woman. So she's got her faith and she's clinging onto that right now. She's being an absolute trooper about it. There's not any negativity or woe is me in her at all. She's just happy to talk to us, and she's still very much here with us and coherent, but the days look like they're pretty limited and numbered. So I'm going to post a GoFundMe that my brother started today because she has been in and out of the hospital for almost a month now, and these bills are going to be outrageous when and if she does pass away. So love my mom to death, and I hope she fights through, and I hope there's a miracle. But I'm going to post that on the Facebook page. If you guys want to help, you can. If not, if you want to spread the word, anything is good help. But we'll get off of that sad news. Appreciate everything that everybody does here. I just want to say thank you to Kyle West and Adam Carlson for keeping this show going and letting me be the stray that they fed and never left a long time ago. And most of all, thanks to all the people in here, man. Viking Jerome, Mike, Cliff joined us. Jonathan Maila was in there. Who do we have here earlier as well? John Young and Sean Reynolds. Merry Christmas, all you guys. Thank you for joining. Thanks for interacting and helping us have more stuff to talk about on this show, but greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, so I think we can say happy holidays to everyone. Thanks for joining the show, and stay classy, Minnesota.